Good evening. So I just want to make a really quick short video, talk a little bit about deciding between building as the locals do or building in a more Western style. There's pros and cons to each. So the pros to building like the locals, all of your workers will be very familiar with the process. It'll be a lot faster. It'll go a lot smoother. The materials that you're going to need are going to be pretty readily available for the most part. The workers are going to know where to go to get each item. It's just going to go a lot smoother. Now, a lot of guys who build houses here have quite a bit more money than what I had to build mine. So a lot of them would like nicer things, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. You know, if you can afford whatever, you know, it's your money, you made it, you can spend it how you like. But to build a Western style house here, specifically in my area, buddy, you're in for a fight, and it's gonna take forever. Some of the materials that you're gonna need, you're not gonna find them here. You're probably gonna order them from Shopee and wait 10 to 12 days to get them. If they come not damaged in the first place. Or sometimes they're not even available on Shopee. You know, you might have to import some stuff from Manila, which could take a month. And I'm not exaggerating. It could take 1 month. Hell, it could take 2 months for some things. There was a foreigner that did a build a little ways away from here. It wasn't really in my area. But he ordered a toilet. A special toilet from Manila. And it took about 7 weeks to get to him. So, I mean, something like that is really gonna slow down your build. Now, if you don't care to let them take a year or year and a half to build the house, then who cares? You know, get the things that you want. But even something like the septic tank. You know, I've had comments about, you know, the way septic tanks are supposed to be done, and I know all of this. I've put in septic tanks before. I've put in, hell, one of them had over 400 feet of lateral lines of perforated pipe because the soil sample and soil composition in that area was very clay-like. So it needed a lot of lateral lines for the proper amount of drainage. And we had to line the perforated pipes with gravel, and I mean, you know, there's like a main line and then there's lateral lines coming off of it in like an H shape. Anyway. So my engineered plans specifically show, as a matter of fact, let me just get them out and show you real fast. Okay, so here are my engineered plans. There's the signature. And then let me flip to the front page real fast. That's the electrical engineer plan, foundation, floor plan. Okay, so each one of them just has a signature. So this plan has been signed off on, which means it's approved. And if it wasn't approved, I wouldn't have gotten my building permit. So here's the layout, and you can see the digestive chamber is the first biggest chamber. The little line coming off of it, you might not be able to read it, but it says 100 millimeter thick reinforced concrete slab with 10 millimeter bars spaced 200 millimeter both ways. Okay. The next chamber, the little line coming off of it, 100 millimeter thick reinforced concrete slab with 10 millimeter bars spaced 200 millimeters both ways. The third chamber, or the chamber that, people would say that needs to be gravel and not concrete. Little line coming off of it, 100 millimeter thick reinforced concrete slab with 10 millimeter bars spaced 200 millimeters both ways. Now in this chamber there's supposed to be a gravel filter on top of the concrete. That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm not going to put gravel down in there. Because if there's a concrete floor, what the hell's the gravel going to do? Anyway, there's the vents, there's the overflows overflowing into the next chambers. So, there you go. This is how they want the septic tank built. Now the lid, the top is supposed to be 12 millimeter rebar, spaced 150 millimeter both ways. But we're not to that yet, but just to address this situation where people say, you're not supposed to discharge out to, basically into the woods. Well, that's what this is showing. This is the outlet pipe here. It goes nowhere. Says nothing on this entire page about lateral lines or anything about that. But more importantly to this video, there's your 100 millimeter thick reinforced concrete slab right there. Signed off and approved. So, could I choose to run lateral lines and all that stuff like you would in America? Yeah, I could. It would cost a little bit more, take a little longer, but yeah, I could do it. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. But at the same time, to me, it's not that big a deal either to run basically straight water out off down the hillside. I mean, my mom has a lagoon on her property where there's no lining, here's what happened. My dad rented a backhoe, dug a hole in the ground about 12 feet across and maybe 5 or 6 feet deep, and then they ran a 4-inch pipe down to the hole, and that's where everything goes. Just into a hole. Out, open to the air. So, with this septic tank, the septic tank will catch the solids. There's nothing solid going to come out the other side. It's basically water. And the way this septic tank is designed, I don't see how the septic tank won't just be full of water all the time. The solids will sink through water eventually. But, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it won't. Maybe it'll seep into the ground. The problem is, it rains so much here, I don't see how the ground could hold any more moisture, but I guess we'll just see how it goes. I mean, I could literally take you to 10 other houses here in my barangay and show you their septic setup. It would be a little concerning to say the least, but I'm choosing to go somewhere in the middle. I feel okay with what it is. It's been approved, and I'm kind of a stickler for rules. So if my building permit says to do it this way, then that's the way I'm going to do it. Because that's the way they're going to expect to see it. If they probably won't, but if they come to inspect or look at it, they will expect it to be built the way the blueprints are designed. And that's the way it's gonna be. So we'll just see how it works. I'll have to give you guys poop updates and show you month by month if the toilet still flushes, which obviously it will. Okay. Just give it some thought on which way you want to go. You'll have a much more comfortable life in the long run if you build Western style. But it's gonna be a fight, and it's gonna take a while. It's gonna be stressful. It's gonna be infuriating at times. Now, the other direction, if you build like a local, yeah, you can put in aircon and you'll be comfortable. I mean, you're just not going to have certain things. Definitely not things like dishwasher and nonsense like that. That's just not the way they do it here. So if you want that, you can have it, but it's going to be a struggle. Anyway, I'll stop talking. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow, I guess. I don't know how to close out these one-off videos that aren't a regular build video. Bye.